Well, let's talk about the upcoming Level 3 exam. There are only two. For Level 1 and Level 2, I had to talk about 2022 as well. So let me talk about 2022 now and just get it out of the way because there will be another video for it. Down here, registration for Level 3 for May 2022 doesn't open until July 20th. So you can't register for it now, and I can't talk about it. I can't talk about any of the content at this point in time. So you're going to have to wait another 16 days to register for 2022. And on that day, I'll put out a video regarding that. Just some things, some small things on strategy would change, but that's about it. So let's look at Level 3 here for September. You have 59 days left to go for the exam. 35 for review, only because you really want to make sure you're very well acquainted with the content, because that AM session just gives you a blank page, or well, now a blank screen. There's no A, B, C to look at to say, oh, I recognize this answer, it's B. So you pretty much have to be very well connected with the content, and I do recommend that you practice answering AM questions, because they are not essay questions. They're called structured response. There is a very specific response that the grader is looking for. And if I can give you one good piece of advice, your job is not to teach the grader the answer. Your job is to tell the grader the answer. If your answer is 6, 7, 8, 9 bullet points long, you're already wrong. All answers are typically 1, 2, maybe 3 bullet points each. That's all you need. There's a very clear structure to what the answer is. You get to the point, you tell the answer, you move on. So make sure you practice that. 24 days, 35 days for review. You got 24 days, about 3.5 weeks to digest the rest of the content. And I don't want to cause anybody any panic thinking, well, 3.5 weeks isn't enough time, I better speed up. That's not going to help you. It's better to go at a pace that your brain can absorb the content and let some things go than it would be to speed over everything you have left at this point, because that's you're just not going to internalize any of that. All brains have a speed limit. Some are faster than others. Some are faster than others in particular topics. Some are slower. Exceed your brain's speed limit, everything will just be confusing, and you'll get more frustrated and more stressed out. So even though there's only 3.5 weeks, just say it is what it is. That's the calendar. That's all. You're not going to go any faster. You just have to find more time. Rescheduling deadline is August 1st. So if you got to reschedule within those 8 days, of the 1st to the 8th, you have till August 1st to get it done. If you are subscribed on our site for Level 3. Mock exams are available. They've been available since June 15th. Just click left menu. You'll see a menu tab called Mock Exams. You'll have access to 2 past CFAI exams. There are 4 AM exams, and I think I'm going to say 4 PM, but there might be 5. I don't know. There might be 5, but for sure there's 4 there. If you don't have a subscription and you just care to access the mock exams, they are available now for 100 Canadian. There are 2 modified past CFAI exams, as I just said, 4 AM and 4 PM. All computer-based. You write your answer out right on the screen. All of the answers have video walkthroughs. So every single question has a video walkthrough, which not only explains what the structure of the answer should look like, but gives you tips based on the type of keyword that you have and how you should approach specific keywords. For those that have a full subscription to our site, for the May Level 3, we had drop-in grading sessions where you could just show up during particular times for mock exams 1 through 4 and listen to a grader explain the answers. No drop-ins for the September exam, the September 1st to 8th window. We don't really have that many registered for this particular window. We had a big number for May, and we got a big number for November, and we have more like a I wouldn't say a handful, but several handfuls for September, but nowhere near the numbers that we had for May and November. So I don't know that there would be any significant demand for the drop-in sessions. However, we do have the 64 hours of drop-in grading session for the November exam. So while we're there, let's talk about that. 142 days, plus 35 for review. That's 107 days from now, roughly about 15 weeks. Registration closes July 20th. Registration for 2022 here opens July 20th. This closes July 20th. So the natural question is, well, hey, listen, I wrote my level 2 exam in May. I have been preparing for level 3. My plan was to take it for November. When are the May results going to be out? We don't know. For some reason, that's a very guarded secret. My best guess is July 14th. That's my best guess based on counting the number of days from the last date for the February exam, which was computer-based testing. That was only level 1 at that time. But based on the number of days, it was 1 week shorter than normal because, you don't have to ship all those exams back to the US from all around the world. So it took a week off. That's my best guess. I don't know. If anybody knows, just go ahead and drop a comment in the comment section. I have seen online somebody mention as early as July 7th. I don't think so. It could be July 20th because that is when registration for level 3 opens. It could be all the way to July 20th. The registration closes July 20th for November. However, CFAI has said for those that are waiting for results that will do November or care to do November, there will be a special way for you online to do it after the after the July 20th date. So don't really know what to expect there. For anybody waiting for level 3 results, they're usually about 2 weeks longer than everybody else. So this would take you to about the end of July. And maybe that's what they mean with the July 20th date, that anybody after that date that needs to register, such as anybody from May who failed level 3, there's no point in waiting for 2022 and potentially, different content or new content in a number of places. You don't need a whole year. You can make a run for November. So I think that's what they mean by, that a window will be open after July 20th for those who want to register for November, probably the level 3 candidates that didn't make it in the May exam. I do anticipate level 1 and level 2 will be before July 20th. Again, just counting the number of days. Scheduling deadline, August 15th. Rescheduling deadline, October 28th. That's to schedule your center. If you're registering and you know where you want to write, it's first come, first serve on these dates and these centers, right? You may as well just take it. Mock exam access here begins September 15th. We will post a schedule of the 64 hours of drop-in grading. It won't be the same person who did the May drop-in grading sessions. Not sure who it's going to be. There is growing discussion that it should be me. It's like, well, I have 3 workshop weekends to do in that month as well. So there's going to be a lot more convincing that I should add another 64 hours. But it is leaning towards it being me. If you're preparing for the November exam, I do have a recommended sequence. This is in the study planner as well. Starting with book 4. I say start with book 4 because fixed income tends to be one of the more challenging sections at level 3. Get it out of the way early so that you have lots of time to think about it. You have lots of time to answer your questions as opposed to doing it last under pressure, because that will really not work out well under pressure. Some easy things, like if you have behavioral finance over here and you save that right to the end and you have to get through it really fast. Well, you can. It's narrative. It's not interesting. It's kind of boring in places, but it's narrative. You can do it. Anytime where you have to think through some complex trading strategies or anything with numbers especially, you have to slow down. So fixed income equity in book 4. Book 3 is asset allocation. 2 readings on derivatives, 1 on currency management. You may find, some people find derivatives and currency management difficult as well. Well, you're front end loading all the difficult stuff so that you have time. And when you have lots of time in front of you and the reading is frustrating, you don't get stressed out. It's like, well, okay, it's frustrating. I don't quite understand it. I'll sleep on it and revisit it tomorrow. But when you leave the challenging readings to the very end, and you have over here 3.5 weeks, and you got to get through fixed income and derivatives, the motivation is to go faster than you can, and those are the readings where you specifically should be going slower than you should. Book 2, behavioral finance, economics, and then jump to book 5, alternative investments, individual portfolio management. This stuff is fairly straightforward. I don't think anything really will challenge you in book 5. Book 6, institutional portfolio management, performance attribution, manager selection, trading strategy and execution. Again, I don't see anything that would challenge you in those particular readings. The challenging ones are, I'll circle them: fixed income, derivatives, economics seem to be the most challenging ones. Second order, asset allocation and currency management. The rest, pretty straightforward. Finally, book 1, ethics. Look, you've already seen it twice, right? GIPS, you're going to see it in a lot more detail, probably more detail than you care to. And the asset manager code of ethics, or code of conduct, is in that reading as well. That stuff, unless you work with that stuff all the time, it sometimes doesn't seem intuitive. It just seems like this big long list of things you need to memorize, because you might only see it once. Something like GIPS, you might only see it, and you may never see it in your career. You may never come across it, or you may never have to actually work with it. So it's more about being familiar with it than a super deep dive. One thing I'll mention as well, in case you don't know, for our subscribers, you should be aware of this now. All of our content is now 1 fee to pass, which means when you register or sign up for any level 3 content on our site, we will carry you until you pass level 3, even if it's only one section. Even if you only buy book 4 and you don't make it, we'll carry you to the next section. You only pay once. Even if you, let's say, take it for September, and you say, well, look, I need help with book 4 or book 3, and you pick up a couple of books, and they're $69.25 Canadian. And I think we're at $1.23 on the exchange rate, so that's somewhere just under $60 US per book. If you don't make it in September, well, November's off the table. You're all the way in May. Even though it's different content, we'll upgrade you to the May content. It doesn't have to be within the same year. It is 1 fee to pass, and that's it. For 2022, I can tell you a few things. Our mock exam package is going to change. The AM is going to increase anywhere from 7 to 8 AM exams, because it's more and more important. I have I don't know if you want to call it a good reputation or a bad reputation for writing very difficult AM exams. They are difficult. And I make no apology for that, only because if you're going to uncover your weak points, it's better to uncover them in a safe space, doing a mock exam, where you can see where it is that you fall short on your understanding. The real exam is going to be easier than mine. So there is some criticism that's saying, well, if you're preparing me for an exam, you should try to give me exams that are as close as possible to what I'll get. True, but let me give you an analogy. When boxers train for a fight, they don't train with people in their weight class. They train with other fighters that are 2 weight classes above them. So somebody training at 185 will train with somebody at 205, just under heavyweight, because you're now fighting somebody 20 pounds heavier in that ring. Well, that person's going to lean on you on the ropes. You got to work your way out of there. You got to push that person off you all the time. So when you do get in the ring with somebody 185, after training with somebody at 205. Clearly you're not going to fight someone 205, but that's not the point. The point is if you can work the ring with somebody 205 bearing down on you all the time and leaning on you, then when you get to somebody at 185, it's going to be nothing. So think of the exams, the mock exams that way, is that, yeah, they are harder than what you're going to see, but it will uncover where you have some shortcomings. And if it pushes you just a little bit more here and there, when you get into the ring with the easier exam, you'll feel a lot better. For next year, I am going to make 2 versions of the exam. I'll make a middle of the road version, and I'll make a difficult version. Then you can pick and choose which one you want. I may not do it for all 7 or 8 of them, but I will have some easy versions of the harder versions that you can take as well. The other thing I can tell you for 2022 is, even though this is the order that I recommend because of the subjects, that will not change. The subject order will not change. But at level 1 and level 2 and level 3, historically, ethics was the very first book. You open the books, reading 1 was always started with ethics. In 2021, they moved, in 2022, they moved ethics at level 1, 2, and 3. All of those ethics readings are all at the very end of all the readings now. So book 1 has now become book 6. So every book number you see here, you have to subtract 1. To get to what 2022 will be. And in ethics, if you subtract 1 while you're going backwards, you'll get to 6. You can say add 5, subtract 1. You get what I'm saying. So one more note about 2022, and then we'll move on. The next few screens are just a discussion about how we do business. Our costs, we announced earlier in the year that we were not going to raise our prices for 2022, and we're not. So the prices that you see on our site for 2021 content are going to be the same prices for 2022. I said that back in, March or April, that we weren't going to raise our prices for the next year. So I do have to apologize for all of the inflation that I caused, because after I said that, prices just started going up everywhere. Every single one of our suppliers hit us up for a price increase. Had I not said it, then maybe that wouldn't have happened, right? It's like planning a barbecue, and you're going to cause the rain if you plan the barbecue. So I'm afraid that I am responsible for all of the inflation that you see, because I did say I wasn't going to raise my prices, so now I can't. I don't know what's going to happen with inflation here. If it stays constant, if we start seeing the same thing throughout the next year, then we will have to think about doing something. But right now, we'll just, we'll swallow the difference. Okay, let's move on to the next screen. If you're, we're only here for the information content about the exams. That's pretty much done. What's on the next screens is just sort of a small discussion of how we do business. All right, on this last screen, I'm going to talk to you about our decision of the price that we've chosen. We've been told many, many times that we could easily charge more, and we are well aware of that. Not charging more is a conscious decision that we make. It's in line with the way that we want to operate, and with our philosophy of the role that business has to play, or that business should be playing. And I'm going to show you a lot more about what we do, just so that you know that what I'm about to tell you are not just words that I say, but we actually practice it, we actually live it. We have one mission statement, which is very, very simple. It's 3 words. When I see mission statements that are paragraphs long, I think, okay, I don't think you really understand what it is you're doing. Ours is simple: deliver overwhelming value. We want every candidate walking away thinking, holy Jesus, I got the better part of that deal by a landslide. Excellent. That's exactly what we want. Our pricing is not based on the value you extract. Our pricing is cost plus. It's based on how much it costs us to get it to you. My belief is that knowledge is free. Knowledge is out there everywhere. It's in a whole bunch of books everywhere. Knowledge is free. Delivery has costs. I'm charging for the delivery of the knowledge that we are producing. It's not our knowledge, by the way. We follow the CFAI books very, very closely. We didn't write those books. We did not create that knowledge. We didn't publish those books. We didn't edit those books. We're simply helping you by guiding you through some of the more complex stuff in those readings. And this is what we're doing. So our pricing is cost plus. My philosophy of business, or at least the role of business, at least the way that I want to do it, is what's called compassionate capitalism. You don't need socialism. You know, some people say capitalism is broken, let's bring in socialism. No, you don't need socialism. You just need a different form of capitalism. But capitalism is the best allocator of capital and resources out there. It's the best motivator for giving you choice in the market. Without capitalism, you lose choice. But you don't have to have a dog-eat-dog form of capitalism. You can have a very compassionate form of capitalism and still make a living. You don't have to be a billionaire. You don't have to be a multimillionaire. You don't have to make hundreds of millions of dollars. You don't have to charge every candidate who walks through the door $1,500 to deliver something that costs you $200 to deliver. You don't have to do that. So compassionate capitalism, and again, I'm going to show you some things that we do so that you can see that it's not just a marketing message that we say, oh, this is what we do, and it's just to virtue signal. I'm going to show you that we do it. So what does it mean? Well, for the candidate, we have accessible pricing so that your access to the content is not directly tied to your level of wealth. Yes, there is a cost. Unfortunately, there is a cost. Unless you can speak with Amazon and get them to give us, server time for free, if you can speak to my landlord and get them to give me rent for free, if you can speak to all my employees and get them to work for me for free, if you can speak to our internet service provider, the people who clean our office, all of our suppliers, and get them to give it to us for free, yes, there is a cost. But we've made the cost as extremely accessible as possible. So for example, level 1 is 315 Canadian dollars. And level 1 breaks down into 10 sections, so we just divided it by 10 and we get to $31.50 per section. Now some places like to say, well, if you're only buying one section, it's $60. To sort of force you to saying, well, it's worth it, the value is in buying the whole thing. Why should I buy each section? I call that punishment pricing. You're being punished because you only wanted a part of what I had, not all of it. So if you only want 1/10 of what I got, you pay 1/10 of the price. It is accessible pricing. It democratizes access to education, and it doesn't have to do with the size of your bank account. It has to do with the size of your will to get things done, to want to do this. But that you find that there are sections where you're going to have trouble with. That's the thing with self-study. That's what we're here for. Also, we have a 1 fee to pass on all items that you buy. If you buy one section, it is 1 fee to pass. So if you buy one section and you don't make it past the level 1 exam, you don't have to pay for it again. We'll extend you to the next exam that you're registered. So you only pay for level 1 once until you pass. That is compassionate. To make the pricing as accessible as possible, to try to remove as much as possible the idea that if you have money, you can afford the better services. This makes it even and sort of level for everyone. It's not just the way that we think we want to treat candidates in terms of accessibility, but the way we treat employees as well. We pay a living wage. I'll show you the website in a second. We are certified. There is a body in an external body in our province in Ontario that does certify businesses. They check. You can't just say you pay a living wage. They do a check on you. Do you do this? Do you do that? So it's like a mini audit, and then they certify you as paying a living wage. So not only do we pay a living wage, I pay bonuses every year, anywhere from 10 to 15% of whatever base salary you have. And again, that base salary is a living wage. I also match on pension, and that increases each year. Not each year, but after a certain number of years, then each year there's an increase in how much is being matched, because I think it's important that you start planning for the future, regardless of what age that you're at. And if you want to put something away for retirement, I will match it to encourage you, right? I also pay all tuition for any staff that wants to go to school, take a course, attend a seminar, attend a conference, a workshop, anything. I will pay for it. It doesn't have to be related to what I'm doing. It doesn't have to be finance related. It doesn't have to be IT related. It doesn't have to be HR related. You can say, I want to learn Chinese. I'll pay. I will pay for it. I'll pay for all human capital development. That's part of being compassionate. And of course, we have full benefits package. Even though we're in a province that has free health care, dental care is not free, eye care is not free, prescriptions are not free. So we pay every month. We pay for benefits, health plan benefits for all the employees. That after you've been with us for, I think it's 6 months, you get full benefits. Also, there is how we treat our community that we're in. And we have a very generous gifting program where we give money away every year. And we'll go through some of the things that we do. Some of the things that we do are meant and targeted towards individuals who are at present in a disadvantaged position. So we help with that, and we also support the local university and students at the local university here. So let me show you the site. If you're already on our site, on the left menu, you'll see something called Jelly Beans, and the first menu item is social initiatives. Okay, left menu, go down to Jelly Beans. There it is, social initiatives, and it'll give you all of the things that we do. Ontario Living Wage Network, we're a part of that. Women in Business Association, we were nominated for an award. That's all down here. This here talks about what we do at Christmas time. We've done this for a number of years now. We get shopping lists from families who are otherwise may not be able to enjoy a Christmas. And we get them everything on their wish list. And our budget is $600 to $800 per family. And my thinking is, at least once a year, that they should get exactly what they want, and be able, the kids especially, be able to hang out with the other kids that they're friends with, and be proud and say, I got this and I got that, and be able to match their peers. I know how important that is as a kid. When you go over to somebody else's house and they got all these great things, but you didn't. I didn't grow up in a wealthy family. So I know how that feels. Well, if I can eliminate that for a number of kids every single year, well, good. So we do that. I think last year we did 11 families. We look to increase it every single year. And what I do, I don't go to the mall, by the way. I'll pay for it, but you're not getting me in a mall at Christmas time at all. But I give the staff, all of our staff, the day off. With pay. I pay for it, and they all go shopping. They all get in their vehicles and they all go shopping, and then they'll meet up somewhere for lunch. I'll pay for their lunch. Again, I'm not showing up. I am getting nowhere near a mall. I'll be a Scrooge on that part. So it's not just the buying of the gifts. I give the whole staff the day off. I pay their wages for the day. They don't lose any income. But yeah, they got to put up with them all. So, for me, if somebody did that to me, I'd say, well, what'd I ever do to you? Why are you sending me to a mall? But they love it. Here is the discussion of the business that gives back category. We were nominated for award for some of the things that we do. Here are some of the things that we do. We gave a donation to Jillian's Place. You can read more about what that means and what Jillian's Place is. $30,000 there. Community care, which looks after and provides a good food program for individuals who simply just can't make ends meet. We gave $15,000 there. Humane Society, we give to Humane Society as well. Back to school, we buy backpacks for disadvantaged children. I hate using the word disadvantaged, but children who are in a situation through no fault of their own. We do this. We'll buy them backpacks, and then we fill it with a whole bunch of stuff. I think it's like $200 to $300 for putting whatever we put in the backpack. Chromebooks for online education. I think last year we sponsored, was it 9 or 10 of these for students, younger students going back to school who simply can't afford to have this. But in today's world, if you're in grade school, this is grade 1, 2, 3, and you don't have electronic devices, you don't have internet capable devices, you're at a huge disadvantage. So we can't save the world, but we save as much as we can. Hospice Christmas dinner, that one went by rather quickly. Let's see if I can get that back. At the very end here, we buy, or at least we subsidize or help pay for the meal for that one. Here is Ontario Living Wage. You can see we're certified living wage employer. It puts our name here. We've been through what it means to do that. If you want to visit the website to get a better idea of what it means to pay a living wage you can click on there and head there. I know some of you are probably maybe shocked at that, because I have done a video before where I was laying out an argument against a higher minimum wage. I do what I do because I want to do it. However, if I were legislated to do this, I'd have a big problem with that. I do it because I want to. I do it because I have a feeling that it's the right thing, but I certainly would not do it if I was coerced into doing it. I don't like legislation telling me to be a good person. I can be a good person. So, even though I might have some views that some of you think aren't very liberal or inclusive, those are more philosophies. I don't live my days like that. So there we are on this one, and we do support education. We hire co-op students, and I think of the co-ops that we do hire, of all of the companies at Brock that are pulling in co-ops, we pay the highest of them. And there are some large companies that are recruiting on campus and paying them, just slightly over minimum wage, which we think is, you're a large company, you can afford to pay them more. And you're investing in their education. They use these co-op funds to then pay for their next semester. Come on, dig a little deep. So they also qualify under that living wage. When we say that we pay a living wage, we don't go cheap on the co-ops just because we can. And we can, because we are teaching them at the same time. We are mentoring them at the same time, so we can make the argument that, look, we're already giving you so much, we don't have to give you that much money. No. Pay them. Pay them the same that you would pay any other staff member. So we do that, and we'll continue to do that, 1 or 2 every semester, if they're available. With the pandemic, they haven't been available for a while. Now, I want you to think about something. Look at the price that we charge, and we can still do all of this. We can still pay a living wage. We can still be a good member in our community. We can provide candidates with accessible pricing. Do I really need to charge $1,500? If I can do all of this with what we charge, what do you think is going on when somebody wants to charge you $1,300 or $1,500? I know how much it costs to get this done, and I think that we probably deliver more in content, in the quality of the content, than most of our competitors do. So I know how much it costs to get done, and we can still do all of this. So let's just click on pricing and subscriptions here. Let's just look at level 1, and we'll click on 2021. The 2022 packages are the same thing, 315 Canadian. You get all 10 sections: reading videos, end of chapter question videos, seminar videos. Yeah, I do seminars, which are really difficult topics. I break down into smaller, I just spend more time with each one. The lecture PDF notes, which are the screenshots, you can ask me questions. You can't ask me hundreds of questions, but you can ask me some questions and I answer them. We have question bank, mock exams, formula sheet. Once you buy this section and you move on to level 2, the reading videos archive so that you can reference back to them. They don't just disappear. We hold an archive for you. And we have an app that you can download. It's free. You can download, and if you have a subscription, you can download the videos into the app for offline viewing. This is accessible pricing. This opens the door to candidates that otherwise may not have been able to afford a provider who have the same ability as somebody else, but not the same bank account. That's what I mean by compassionate capitalism. So if you look at our price and you say, well, it's a low price, it must be low quality, I challenge you to do two things. Number one, buy one section. Try it out. Try it out. I guarantee you'll buy another section. And if you really want to know what we're all about, there's some free content on YouTube. All of level 1 from 2017 is there. And if that still is not enough and you want to get other people's opinion about us, go to LinkedIn or go to Reddit and post a question. Is this stuff worth it? We don't comment on any of that kind of stuff, but other people are out there. Plenty of other candidates have used us, and we'll let them say how they feel. We've not, since day one, spent a penny in advertising, nor will we. Because if we spend a penny in advertising, well, then we have to raise our price and make you pay for the advertising that we spent just to get you to pay us. We don't think that that's a good idea. We think if you deliver overwhelming value, people will talk about it. And that is all that we need in terms of marketing and advertising is word of mouth. It's the best form. Anyways, I've probably taken way too much of your time. That's it. I'll put out some other videos throughout the week, and a surprise here. This may you may like this. I think there's an applied series coming out in the next week or so, which will include what I think my year-end forecast for the market is. The S&P. When I say the market, I think the S&P. So there we are.